Hi guys, it's me, Salagi. I know I'm on this again about Kiely Rodni, but I just wanted to point a couple things out. Let me just go find. So, I just wanted to point out that these people did in fact go missing the same night as Kiely. And I think my question has always been, did Kiely actually make it to the car show? Because how is it even a thing that, and I'm sitting here boggling my mind trying to figure out, like, if she was being passed from car to car, like Celicia was mentioning, and that there's police reports, civilians were reporting seeing different sightings of a blonde girl. And one of those sightings was actually someone swore that was Kiely, but she had brown hair. So that's also a possibility that a lot of people kind of like maybe didn't really think about, is that could have been her, but with brown hair. Now, obviously, there's no pictures of her in the car. I don't think they ever, like, that would be macabre. There's just too much, but I think it'd be interesting to know if she had a different hair color. I did make a little, like, an AI type video a while back of pictures of Kiely, like, it's just AI, but with different hair colors, and I just thought that would be an interesting take to show her with different hair colors. I was hoping that maybe one of those people who made the report would, like, see it, but that the chances of that are probably like a needle in a haystack. But I do want to welcome anyone who sees my videos. If you ever want to reach out to me, like, I try to be careful. I'm not trying to get anyone in trouble. Like, there's already so many people that have died surrounding this case for whatever various reason, and now, like, not to be a conspiracy theorist, but like, they're gonna orchestrate, meaning the mob or whoever, the organized criminals, they're gonna orchestrate a fictitious death of people if they're trying to get rid of people. And I don't even like talking about it. Like, my stomach is turning right now just thinking about how they operate and their just complete lack of humanity, basically. Like, are they even human? They're doing these things to other humans? In my opinion, no. So there's that case, which was very odd. And if I was like a private detective or an investigator or something like that, I would totally grab onto that case, because I really believe it connects. And this video that I just showed was showing the Mexican party that Zaname was talking about. And now she denies it. That's last I heard. She's probably trying to distance herself from this case as much as possible, but she's the one that brought up that Mexican party video that was at Prosser. And I just feel like, I really feel like these two were there at that party, and I really feel like that's the only reason why it was even a thing, like it was even shared, because I feel like that's a huge possibility that Kiely could have attended it, or someone from that party was doing some creepy shenanigans, and then there's reason to believe that Sammy may or may not have tried to set something up. Like, I don't know where that came from, but I'm sure some of you might remember that there was some, like, rumors about her, I don't know, just wanting to get rid of a kid. Anyways, I don't like talking about all this, but it's just been bothering me. The closer we get to the anniversary of her disappearance, and the fact that there's so much quote-unquote evidence from what I would see now, I feel like something has changed. Like, we have too many sympathetic laws, I guess, that allow for perpetrators to go free and not ever have to pay for the consequences of their own actions. Like the stuff that's happening with the Diddy case, we all feel like there's enough evidence for him to be prosecuted. The stuff that's going on with the Epstein case, we all feel like there's enough evidence for some justice to happen in that situation. At least maybe pay out some of these victims. You know. Another person that I think is very interesting in this case, well, there's so many, there's too many. For example, Mr. Piss. See, Mr. Pissanetsky was someone who early on was I guess you could say trolling, but he was already a troll, so it's kind of like his normal behavior, right? So you kind of have to, like, believe people when they show you who they are, and he was definitely just a troll. But at what point do you separate the troll from his regular honest behavior? So in my opinion, he's a punk by nature, but he's also like an honest punk, if that's a strange example. Let me see if I can find I'll just talk about him because I can't find a picture of him right now. But my point of bringing him up in the Kiely Rodni case is because he had said, and I recorded all of his little TikToks and his Instagrams and stuff, and he's definitely doing some organized crime type stuff, like, I don't know, trafficking cars and things like that. And I need to not say that word. I hope this doesn't get flagged, but you know what I mean. Like, there was like pictures and stuff of him traveling the world and doing stuff, which is really odd. And yeah, I get that he could be some little rich kid. Cool. We get that. But he was definitely involved in some kind of like shady, fringe type, under the table, organized crime, monetary situation, in my opinion, because he had like RVs for sale, cars for sale, and a lot of people like will just block out the license plate on them so nobody like can, I don't know, like look up your stuff. But no, he had stuff for sale that was straight up, they just took the license plate off. So most of it didn't even have a license plate on it. And there was other stuff like, well, if you followed the Kiely case long enough, you know that early on he he had said on one of his TikToks that the FBI came to his house looking for Kiely Rodni. And then he mentions at the bottom, he says, good thing they didn't check the basement. So, interestingly enough, Celicia had mentioned a basement. That a red car, and Sammy, because Sammy had a red car, drove over to her house. And a lot of people don't believe that because they're like, well, she lived in a trailer, because they see the trailer in that video, where the surveillance video where the guy comes to abduct them. That was their business. That wasn't their house of residence, okay? There could have been a basement. I don't know. I don't know the situation. I'm just assuming that when you have a lot of immigrants in one place, that they all kind of live in one house, maybe. And I'm not saying that was Celicia's situation, but she basically told us that that's what it, that she was an immigrant and she came here, and there's a whole organization and how they do things. It's organized with like who you're gonna pay and stuff. And she probably owed a debt to come here. I don't know. Like, I know there's people that would know. She's one of them, but she's not here anymore, so she can't really tell us. If you go back to those texts, you can see it all. She laid it all out in what exactly she was talking about. So given that, the Mr. Pisanetsky guy, Matthias was his name, just a straight up weird person with a lot of weird stuff on his content on his TikTok, and I don't want to go into all the details. That's probably why I never really talked about this before. I would just show a lot of pictures and music, because the whole thing is just really, really scary, actually. In the horror flick section, some of the things that I found when I was looking at his stuff. So anyways, long story short, I would just like to say that he's probably, in my opinion, connected to the case, because why would he even mention Kiely's name? And this, I will say, he is one of Sammy's friends. That's what we found out, that he was on her friends list, she was on his friends list, so makes sense, And I don't know, I'm getting kind of worried talking about it now, because there's just so much that connects, and just going through all the different connections is disturbing, because I look back and I'm like, wow, they were really a lot of crazy connections in this case.